What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the channel. If you don't know me, my name is Grant, and I went from $0 to over $4 million a year scaling my custom furniture business. So it started as a handmade kind of farmhouse table style business that we scaled to over $4 million a year using different marketing strategies, sales strategies, and then obviously back-end strategies. So in this video, I want to tackle one of the most common issues that custom furniture makers have, which is scaling your business, because it can be really tough with the custom furniture business model to go from completely custom pieces to being able to hire people to replicate those pieces and to be able to scale where you can kind of take yourself out of the business and not necessarily be involved in, all the day-to-day tasks that come with custom furniture making. So stay tuned. We're going to go over just a brief synopsis of how you can kind of change your mindset on your business and go from a custom furniture business to more of a product-oriented business and kind of just change the whole dynamic of your business so you can scale like I was able to scale in my business. Before we go into it, if you guys don't mind, go ahead and subscribe. We're trying to grow the channel. You can also follow us on Instagram at 7figurefurniture. We post a ton of content on there pretty much daily to help you guys kind of grow your business. We work with furniture businesses and woodworkers, so go ahead and follow along and you guys can get all the tips as well. If you're in the custom furniture business right now where you're making custom pieces, you're dealing with leads who want a custom product every time, then I'm sure you understand all the hardships that come with this. So, building every piece presents a brand new challenge that only skilled woodworkers will be able to do. A lot of the times this means that the prices need to be pretty high to make a decent profit. And I'm sure if you've gotten to this point yet, that hiring people to do this consistent work and deal with the challenges that come with custom furniture is very hard, if not impossible. And if you are able to find people who are able to do this kind of great work, custom, who you can trust, who you can take time off and go on vacation with your family and leave to take care of the custom orders, that this is going to be a very, very expensive person to hire, which is going to leave your business with very little profit, which means that it's going to be incredibly hard to scale. So this is the business model, like I said, that I started with, and we did okay. We did, anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 a month for a while, but I had almost no free time. It was impossible to hire people. And once I changed my mindset and changed the entire business model, while not having to spend a ton of money to do so, we were able to scale over a couple of years to over $300,000 a month using what I call a more product-based business model as opposed to a custom furniture model. So how did we do this? Well, in a nutshell, we basically switched from custom products to a product-based business that we based off of the best-selling custom product. So keep in mind, this does not mean that you cannot still take custom orders. In fact, you should, because this is a great way to do market research. So you can figure out, what does the market want? What are we not already selling that the market seems to ask for time and time again? And then you can kind of turn those custom orders into standardized products that maybe come in different sizes, color options, etc., and use that to be able to create systems for these products that'll help you scale. Keep in mind, keep taking those custom orders in the meantime while you scale, but only take the custom orders if you feel like this is a product that is, relatively straightforward to build and relatively easy to create systems in the future to build, so you can hire people who are able to do it with little to no, error on their part. So here's how I would recommend starting. I would find some of your best-selling custom orders that you've done in the past, and hopefully, if you've delivered them yourself, or even if you've had a delivery service deliver them, you can get some pictures from your customer, or maybe you have some pictures of the product in their home, and you can take these pictures and actually start to, on your website, create product pages. So this is going to be a lot different than a gallery page on the website where it kind of just shows your work. You actually want to start creating a product page for this. So let's just say you created a custom table, right? So you're going to create a product page for this style of table. You'll maybe offer different colors, you'll offer different sizes, but now this is going to be a standardized product on your website that customers are getting that style. They can choose a couple variations of it, but you can have systems in place where, maybe you have jigs to build the legs or jigs to build this certain type of top to where it's very standardized, and your shop or warehouse will be able to duplicate this process without the headache of, a custom order where someone doesn't really know exactly where to start or how to actually get it done. So step number one, start gathering all the photos, the good photos you have of your work, preferably staged if you have them in customers' homes, that you feel like these products would be great to put on your website. Again, not as a gallery, but as an e-commerce site where your customers can choose those products and then choose the variations. Obviously, on your product page, in order to sell online, you're going to want great photos. You're going to want a description, and you want to make sure this description is not super cheesy, where it says, this table is great for any type of home, but just keep it to the point with bullet points. So, all the specifications of the product, what kind of wood the product is made out of, what sizes the product comes in, all that stuff. And then also you'll want to include any shipping policy you have, shipping times you have, return policy, refund policy, all that stuff to make sure that all of the customers' questions that they might have for you are going to be answered on that page. This is going to limit the number of people leaving the website or having to call you to clarify different questions about the product that they might have. So use the product page as your kind of sales page to give them as much information as possible to be able to make a decision. Now, you might feel like you only have a few products you want to do this with, and that is totally fine. A lot of furniture businesses get super caught up that they don't have 300 products, so they're never going to be able to make a professional website, and this is actually not true at all. Sometimes the less products you have, the better, and I would actually highly recommend starting with fewer products and kind of getting your foot in the door, because this will leave customers with less decision, which won't lead them to, indecision. This is also great because if you're running ads for your website and for these products, you can put those images of the products you're selling on the ad, and the customer sees what they want and goes to the website, and you don't have 300 products. You can be sure that those ads that they've seen, they're interested in, and those products are going to be right there for them to view, hopefully on a featured page or wherever you have them. And overall, it'll just make the experience very easy for the customer. Yes, you might run the risk of the customer at the beginning not finding what they're looking for, but this is where you're hopefully going to still take custom orders and be able to figure out kind of what you're missing on the website and how you can add products in the future. But don't feel like you need 200 or 300 products on your website to be successful, because when I started this business model, I scaled with only a handful of products and only ended up with, about 40 to 50 products, I would say. And that did really, really well, and we were able to scale. And then on the back end, it's going to be easier too, because you don't have so many products you're trying to train people to build and so many different processes to follow. It's going to be a lot easier, so don't let that hold you back. Another great thing that you can do to get this going on your website and to start transitioning into a product-based business, if you have a little bit of disposable income in your business and you have the space in your shop or your warehouse, I would highly recommend creating a small staging area for your products. You can do this for very, very cheap. All you need to do, and I'm sure if you're a woodworker or custom furniture business owner, you're relatively handy. You need to create 3 walls, some framing, put some drywall on it, paint it, maybe do some beadboard, some cheap flooring, and maybe a rug. And you can start putting your products in there, getting great photos, and now you control the pictures. You don't have to rely on going to a customer's house or getting them to send you product photos. You can control this on your own. And once we started doing this, we saw huge increases in sales in our online store because we were able to get more close-ups of the product. So for instance, a lot of the times with customer photos, you get great photos, but it's normally only 1 or 2 pictures, and it can be really hard for people online to see the detail of the product in those pictures. So with the staging area, again, you control it, so you can take pictures of the legs of the table, of the top of the table, of the unique grain of the table. You can take pictures of every aspect of it to, again, have that on your product page and limit the amount of questions that people are asking, which is going to lead to a lower bounce rate on your website and obviously more sales. You can create one of these staging areas for super cheap. I believe we did one for less than $1,000, and you can honestly do it for way less than that if you really want to budget. Again, you need some 2x4s, some drywall, Nothing has to be really up to code because it's not an actual room that you're using. You don't have to worry about electrical, plumbing, all that stuff. It's just a staging area to look nice, just drywall, like I said, some flooring, and maybe a rug or some other decorations like a chandelier. If you don't have the money to create a staging area just yet, another option you can use is using stock photos. So you can go on a website like iStock or Stock Photo, and you can find actually backgrounds of dining areas or living areas. And if you have some basic Photoshop skills, you can Photoshop your products into there. I will say I don't recommend this method over the staging area method because the products aren't going to look quite as good unless you're a pro in Photoshop, but it is a good option in the meantime to get some good product pictures on the website and kind of get some sales rolling so that you can afford to do the staging area in the future. Okay, great. So at this point, you will have a few standardized products on your website. You're hopefully going to stop taking all these custom orders and focus more on this. And now on the back end of things, you can start creating some standard operating procedures for these products. So keep in mind that people you hire are going to need things written out step by step if you want to be able to hire at scale and not hire necessarily professional woodworkers every time. You need to make sure that you have standard operating procedures and jigs set up so that everything is very objective and not subjective. You don't want to run into the problem of an employee looking at a product and subjectively saying it is either good or it's not good to go. You want to make sure that there are standard operating procedures in place so that everything is objective. So the employee should be able to look at the product, look through your list, and make sure that things either do or do not pass. This is obviously going to decrease your rate of returns and refunds and just increase overall customer satisfaction. In terms of building the product, I would recommend any jigs you can make. Obviously, if you're a custom furniture business owner, like I said, you're probably pretty handy. So any sort of jig you can make to make the base assembly easier or the top assembly easier or any other aspect. In this example, I'm specifically referring more obviously towards dining tables, but you can set up these jigs for any type of furniture, whether it's living room furniture, dining room furniture, anything like that. Just set up some jigs to make sure that the margin of error for your employees is as low as possible and they can basically follow a list. The idea is that you should be able to hire someone off the street who's relatively competent, and within a couple weeks, they should be able to follow these methods and produce a pretty good product. Now, maybe you're going to have to supervise at the beginning, which is totally normal. You're not going to be able to just scale overnight and hire a bunch of people and leave your business. But the idea is to be able to put yourself out of the work a little bit and hire people for more of the labor intensive work so you can focus more on the big picture, which is going to be crucial to you being able to scale in the future. Now, with these standard operating procedures, you should also be looking at what kind of tools can you invest in to make the job easier for your employees. So maybe you've kind of held back on buying that new tool because it's a little bit expensive, and maybe you just do things, the hard way a little bit more because it's cut back on your expenses with tools and everything. But in this model that we're using, you need to make sure you're buying the best tools and the right tools for the job to make sure that your employees are not having to use any sort of creativity to create the product. So that's not to say the employees can't be creative. Obviously, you hope that they are and you hope that they can critically think, but the idea is that they're able to follow a set of procedures that will get the product built in a consistent way every single time. And then once you do this and you start hiring a few people, you can start seeing where are the kind of weak links in the process. And this is basically a constant thing that you're going to be working on, is fixing these weak links and making sure that you're constantly focusing on what the slow aspects of the process are so that you can continue to scale. Now, once you've done all this, you should have a really good baseline to get your business going from custom over to a product-based business, which I promise you is going to be a much more scalable business for you in the future. So hopefully you'll start running some ads soon for your products, getting some people on your website, and really starting to see the benefits of going to a product-based business as opposed to a custom furniture business. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want more tips, like I said, follow us on Instagram at 7Figure Furniture. You can also join the 7Figure Furniture group in Facebook where we post a bunch of content for you guys. I'm confident you'll get a bunch of value out of it. And if you ever need help with the marketing section, we actually run an ads agency where we help furniture businesses scale. So this is not just for custom furniture businesses. We work with furniture stores, we work with retailers, all different types of furniture businesses. And we use the same strategies that I used in my business to go from absolutely nothing, like I said, to over $4 million per year. So again, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.